Hey everyone, you're live with Necee. I am your host, Opal Bailey. This month I am continuing bringing in guests to honor the men and women of service. So today I have with me Jane, and let me just tell you a little bit about Miss Jane. We met each other at So Central here in Merritt Island, and we have been pretty much dear friends now since that time. And so I thought that she will be a very good person to bring on because of her military background and also her personal experiences of life that would definitely bless you guys out there in the listening land. So, hey Jane.
Hey Opal, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm glad that you're here today.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Jane, as Opal told you. And presently I'm living in Merritt Island. Have been there now for 15 years or so. Prior to that, I was in Orlando. And prior to that, I lived where I was born, which is Bermuda, the island of Bermuda, which is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. 21 miles long by 1 mile wide.
So did you move here from Bermuda for military or just family move? How did you get to
I
Brevard
moved here
County?
because I wanted to get off the island. It's very small, 21 by 1. We have a saying down there saying, okay, it's rock fever time. We just got to go. So I decided I would go, and I ended up applying for my American citizenship, and come to find out, after filling out about 800 sheets of paper to try and get my green card over here, found out that I was already an American citizen because my mother was an American citizen and never lost her citizenship. So I was American the whole time.
So are you the only child?
No, I'm the oldest of 4.
Okay.
I got 2 sisters and a brother.
So how did you get into the military? Did you have a family line of military or?
No, not really. I guess when I was growing up into like my 20s and so 20s and 30s, I was part of a woman can do anything. Anything she puts her mind to. And lots of times when I got on this subject or this role, you might say, a lot of my male friends would say, oh yeah, you're such a woman. You can't get into the Army. I said, if they allowed me in the Army, I would sign up. So I opened the newspaper one day and found out that they were now going to allow women in the Army. So the first thing I did was put my name down.
And so what year was this?
Oh my God, that's a long time ago. About 35 years ago.
Wow. So was this something normal? This wasn't a normal thing to allow women during that time.
There were no women in the Army. They had men only. In fact, it was really strange because once we got in there, the women, they only allowed 12 women in. We were the test to see how it would work. And there were hundreds of women that applied, and they only chose 12. So I feel very honored that I was one of the very first 12 in the Army. Mm-hmm. One of the strangest things was, though, the sergeant majors. Those are the ones who yell and scream and curse at all the guys. Mm-hmm. Well, basically, Bermuda men are pretty respectful of women, and they didn't know how to yell, scream, and curse at the women. So even though we were Army people now, not women out in the street, these guys couldn't handle it. Mm-hmm. They treated us too nice as far as the head honchos thought. Mm-hmm. So they had to end up going to Jamaica and bringing in women from Jamaica to train us.
And so how was that? That was like from a night and day kind of training.
Yeah, it was. She was tough, but she was fair. But we were treated like the men were. There was no difference because they have men and women in Jamaica, the Jamaica Defense Force. Mm-hmm. So we were not coddled or anything. I mean, we got down and dirty.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I did a lot of things in the Army that I never dreamt I would ever do. And we did them and did them fine. You know, women can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I always believed that.
So was it that because of the like a dare kind of thing with the guys that you
Well,
did it,
it
or
wasn't.
something?
Well, yes, in a way, because I figured now I have to
Show them off.
show them off now. You know, I've been saying for years, my mouth has been saying for years that I would join the Army if they allowed us in there. The only reason I'm not there is because they won't allow me there. So when it came up that you're now allowed and you have to apply to get in there, I figured, oh, well, I better get moving and apply.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel being away from family for the first time?
It was a little bit different. I had 2 kids as well.
Okay.
I was a single mother at the time and had 2 children, but they were well looked after by my parents, who lived just around the bend from me. So they carried on their life as normal. They just didn't have mom there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When I was doing my basic training. And then and our training is a little bit different over there than it is here. We did a basic training for a few weeks, and then we reported once or twice a week during the week, and then some weekends, a couple times a month on the weekends, full weekends.
So were your training continually throughout that? How was your?
Yes.
Okay.
It was continually. I started out in my branch, you might say, or my section. What I did was I worked as for B Company, and I was their liaison, and that was fun because I got to know a lot about the Army, things that was really none of my business, but because it had to go through the company, I got to know about. And then I did that for about a year, and then I was transferred to intelligence, which again was awesome. We did a lot of training as well in Jamaica. They flew us to Jamaica for training, which was a whole other thing. You know, I'm used to the island life, and I went to Jamaica, and we lived in the hills basically.
So how did you adjust to such a different change?
I had to. That's why I did. It's so much different when, you get up in the morning when I was at home and you get yourself all prettied up, get ready to go to work, the high heel shoes and the cute skirt and type things. And here I was running around in Army boots and fatigues and pants that didn't fit because they didn't make them for women. So that was different. And you didn't have time to stop and think, oh, my God, do I need to touch my lipstick up?
Right.
It wasn't time for that.
So how was your interaction with the men? Were y'all together or you were just a separate?
At first, we were separate. They trained just the women alone. And that lasted probably about maybe 6 months or so. And then we were dispersed into different sections with the men.
How was your typical day in basic training and your training, getting up in the morning?
Yeah, getting up very early in the morning and getting ready, throw those boots on again, those socks, and we started out running around, running on the beach. Not fun in Bermuda when you got all those clothes on, you're running in the heat with all those heavy clothes. But it was good. I mean, we had like 40-pound knapsacks on most of the time running around. We had to experience what it's like to get hit by tear gas. And what they did was we were in a big hall, and they made us run around in this hall and run around till we would drip, no air conditioning, till we were dripping wet. And then all of our pores were open. Then they dispersed the tear gas. And that stuff burns.
Oh, wow.
It burns.
So how was that? Everything with that? How did it go?
We managed. We made it just as good as the guys did. There wasn't anybody who kind of fell behind. The women were good. They
Mm-hmm.
really were good. And if you met those women, you'd probably think, "Oh no, she'd never be in the Army," because all of the women that was in the 12, we were all educated, all had great jobs. Some had families, some didn't, and but we managed just because we wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
We really didn't want to be there. And that's why we were there, because we applied to be there. We were hoping that our name would get chosen.
So was it mainly, I mean, I know you wanted to be there, but did it also help you with your attitude being there to help you get through?
Yes, absolutely. I'll tell you what, in Bermuda, everybody's late. Everybody's late. It's just a common thing. If you want somebody to arrive at your house at 5 o'clock, then you tell them they need to be there by 4, because by 5 they might be there. Well, it taught me to be on time, because there was no messing with the time. When they said time, it meant serious time.
So it kind of helped you with build your character. And
It did help me build my character. It gave me a lot of confidence. One of the things I did, which I never dreamt I would ever do, is I went abseiling off a cliff in Jamaica. And the first time I did it, my sergeant said to me, "Remember, when you go over this cliff, keep your legs open." Okay? I said, "Okay, I got it." Well, it's very nerve-wracking, to say the least, that you know there's a cliff there, and you're going to walk backwards until you get to that cliff, and you're just going to go over. And you got to have those legs open. Otherwise, you will tumble, which is exactly what I did. So now I'm tumbled because now I'm in the wrong position, and I had to get myself back up in the right position and get down this mountain, this cliff.
Wow.
So when I got to the bottom of it, I was like, okay, I'm going back up and do it again, because I want to make sure that this time I didn't tumble.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, but it gave me a lot of confidence that I could really do anything.
And so from there, where you go, what else were?
My basic training was like on the weeknights that I was in Army, because I worked during the day. I owned my own company back then, and Army started in the evening normally, except for the weekends. Started in the evenings, and I would get dressed. I'd go to the Army, and we would do whatever we had to do, whatever was scheduled for us to do. Sometimes, excuse me, sometimes it was marching. Sometimes it was sitting around doing nothing much. Most of the times it was just a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But you learn to tolerate it all. It really is amazing. You have to experience it to really understand what I'm saying. It was such a great feeling mentally that I was this person, this new person who could do anything. It just gave me that confidence that anything in the world I wanted to try, I could do.
So how did you progress in the military?
Well, we started off, of course, as corporal. As a private. And then we went to, our first gig up was Lance Corporal, and then a corporal. And I actually finished off as a corporal. I did 3 years in the Army, which is what I had to do. I really wanted to stay, but I really also knew I had children, so I couldn't stay there like that forever. Mm-hmm. Had I not had children, I might have made a career out of it. Mm-hmm. And some of the girls did make a career out of it. Some of them are still in there, the same girls that I went in with.
Mm-hmm. So in the military during that time, were they more into family togetherness, or they were, not too family conscious?
The answer to that was you'd be told, you're now a soldier. Mm-hmm. You're not a mommy. You're a soldier. And that's what came first.
So how do you feel about them telling you that?
You know what? It was okay, because my children were always my priority, of course, in life. But here I was, if they got sick or they weren't feeling well, I couldn't just take the day off and stay with them. My mom was there, my dad was there to do that. But I was a soldier first. I learned how to run on the beach. I learned how to go by ropes. And then if you fell or you let go, you're going to fall down into a bunch of, I'm trying to think of the name of those plants. But they got these big, sharp pricks on them. Big. They're about 2 inches long, the pricks. So if you fell and you didn't get across, you're going to fall in that. And then it's like, oh, well. So I never fell in that. Thank God. But I also learned how to shoot. I used to shoot rifle, and then I went into pistol. I used to shoot an Uzi, and I was really good at shooting, actually.
So were you in combat, or did you ever get into combat? Or
no, Bermuda really doesn't get into combat because we're still protected by England. So if anything happened in Bermuda bad, the British Army would be there. One of the things that did happen when I was there, though, that we were called in. Every soldier was called into the Army. No excuses at all, period. Was a number of years ago, I guess it was my second year there, somebody went and shot the governor of Bermuda and his dog. And then they went around and they went and shot the chief of police. So that was an immediate, you're up, you're now. You get in the Army, get in here now. And we were on parole while they were looking for the guy. And they did find him. So that was that was different because you were demanded to be there. And every single person, it wasn't just like one group of people came in for training. It was everybody that was in the Army was in.
So how did you feel about leaving? I know you said you had kids and stuff like that. And even though you knew you wanted to go in the Army, how did you deal with leaving them with your parents?
I was okay with it because they were very close to they were very, very close to my parents, both of them. And I mean, we lived close to each other. And so we were, it was okay. They understood it. They understood what I was. They were proud of it. And they were happy to be living with Nana and Grandpa for a little while. So it was really A-okay. So it was good.
So did you have any regrets for the decisions you made as far as going in the military?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Not one regret. It was a fascinating experience.
Tell us about the different places you've been there, that you traveled, because I know you were sharing with me before.
Yeah. Most of my traveling for the Army time was in Jamaica. Different parts of Jamaica. We went into Kingston for starters, and then we would do a move and we would go someplace else. We would also, let's see where else we went, Montego Bay, Negril, and the Jamaica Defense Force trained with us when we were there. And if you know anything about Jamaica at all, the Jamaica Defense Force kind of rules Jamaica. It's not the police, it's the Army that takes over that. So, and they're tough. They were nice. Downtime, they were nice. But other than that, they were tough.
Did you experience any kind of friction with other soldiers, like the mail with y'all coming in? And
No, okay. None at all. No, I think they were probably warned.
Yeah,
probably. So no, we had no frictions at all.
Wow, that sounds like a very peaceful time that you went in.
It was pretty much. It was. It's not like it is today. It was pretty peaceful out there. We did a lot of, like I said, we did a lot of training. There are things in Jamaica that you take for granted here that you don't get in Jamaica.
Such as?
Soft toilet paper. But I was told, I was warned when I was packing up for going over there, was take a roll of toilet paper and throw yourself on it. It's yours. Don't lend it to anybody. You know, people would steal your toilet paper because our toilet paper was so much softer. Theirs was like, I can't even say like newspaper. It was worse than newspaper. Things like that. But we had a good time. I mean, sometimes we'd be in a truck and we've done training all day long, and they're driving. And if you've ever been to Jamaica and drove, you close your eyes most of the time and just pray to God you get there because they drive terrible. But we'd be in the truck and having a good time after the training day was over, and the truck would just pull up alongside of a vegetable cart type thing. People sold, where we were, they sold vegetables almost like out of their yard type thing. And we would go there like buy mangoes, bags of mangoes, like $3 for a bag, which had like 15 mangoes in it. So we always had a good time doing that type of thing. But the people there were very, very nice.
That sounds so peaceful. When you think about the military then, 35 years ago, and you think about it now, it's like night and day.
It's like night and day, yes. Yep. We used to pay, wherever we were training, there were always some little Jamaican kids, just because that's what they wanted to do. They were very poor. You know, some had holes in their pants. You could see their bottoms from it, but they were happy kids. And we would pay them like a quarter to go up to climb a coconut tree and bring the coconuts down. And we would drill a hole in the coconuts, and we would pour vodka in it. And that was our drink. Real coconut juice.
You know, as I'm listening to you, and you mentioned about how, you know, your attitude helped you get through a lot. Was that, did your parents, I'm sure your parents had something to do with that too, because you was already, you know, doing some things in your life. You already had your business.
Yes, yes. No, I had a great, not a very good, a great upbringing by my parents. My parents were married for 51 years when my father passed away. And my mom's still alive. She's now 96 years old. And that both of them were very, very proud of me. In fact, they were proud of all their kids. And they let us know that. They never tried to hold us back from anything. We were all good kids. Not one of us has ever been in trouble with the law or drugs or anything like that. My parents, their job when they had kids, to them, was bringing us up. And they did. There's very few times in my life that I can honestly say, well, my parents got a babysitter because they went out.
Yeah, they were always there.
That's right.
Always active in your life.
Always. Sometimes on a New Year's Eve, my father worked in a hotel, so he always worked New Year's Eve. So sometimes on the New Year's Eve, my mom would go down there and just sit with him New Year's Eve because they always had a party, and she would then get a babysitter for us. But that was about it. But that was exciting for us too, you know. That my mom's going out, we're getting a babysitter, you know, and she's going to put on her one tube of lipstick that she's had all my life, and then we might be able to get a little bit of it, you know.
Right.
No, but my parents had a lot to do with us.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, we had a very good upbringing.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe that the parents are, when you're active, involved, you know, building you up, especially during that time, because wasn't it back in segregation, or y'all basically came out of that already?
We were out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we were all out of that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it was, I had a good life. I'm at the age I am now. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm kind of old. I have no regrets in my life, none whatsoever. You know, every experience I've had, whether it be good or bad, to me, it's who I am today.
Yeah.
You know, so even when I got married, got divorced, you know, divorce is not nice, but it helped me for who I am today.
What is one of the challenges that you had to overcome in your life?
Oh, goodness.
Whether it's military or personal.
To be honest with you, I haven't had any real challenges.
Okay.
Nothing really serious. Whatever it was, I took the attitude was, can you change it?
Mm-hmm.
If you can, then do something about it now.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't, then leave it alone and get on with something else. So I never procrastinated on things that just wasn't going to happen. You know, I try to live positively, as do all my siblings. My youngest sister, she's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's very positive to her.
Was that because of your parents' upbringing?
Because my parents, Yep.
That's really good.
Yeah. We had good parents. We still got a good mother.
How did you feel about coming out of the military? Did you have any? I know you said you don't have any regrets or anything like that, but coming out, was it easy to get a job? Was it easy to keep going?
I owned my own company.
Okay, even
so
then, okay.
it was easy. It was easy.
Oh yeah, well you had your stuff going on.
Yeah, and I had a business partner who, when I was in the Army, ran the business.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went back to work as normal. But I did miss the Army when I came out. I miss the girls,
Mm-hmm.
and how we all developed to be friends. You know, and I'm still friends with most of them today. You know, on Facebook and stuff. But yeah, so I made some good relationships.
What is some wisdom that you can share with us in our everyday life, not just the Army, but
Everyday life? I would say there's positive things and there's negative things in this world. Don't dwell on the negative. Think positive. If there is something that's negative in your life, there's a positive that's coming. Know that there's a positive that's coming. God didn't put us in this world to suffer. He put us in this world for us to be happy. So don't dwell on that negative. Pray about that negative. Let it go away and move on and be positive. Live positive and try to pass it on to everybody. You know, be nice to somebody. Try to be nice to somebody at least once a day.
is that something that you
do.
You do? And
Yes. I always try to, if I see somebody, if I don't know, I always try to, something simple as, hi, good morning, how are you? I have no idea who they are. And it like, they kind of like, oh, I'm good, thank you. You know, it's like they're not expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people just go about their own business all the time. But stop and say a nice word to somebody. You know, you see a kid in the store with his mommy, just say, hi, how are you today? And you see the kid just like warm up.
Mm-hmm.
It's and the mother does too. You know, it's nice to be nice.
So does this quality you pass down to your children as well?
Absolutely.
Now, are your children in the military as well?
Nope. My son still lives in Bermuda, and he has 2 children. He's got a 25-year-old. So I've got a 25-year-old granddaughter, and he has a 16-year-old son who just got back to Bermuda because he was chosen by the government or paid for by the government, but he was chosen to go to Barcelona to play soccer, which we know is football here. Or maybe we know it is football there. You know it is soccer here.
Mm-hmm.
So he played there for a couple of years. He also went to England to play soccer. He also went to Italy. So now he's back in Bermuda again in school and doing his thing.
So do you feel like you lived a full, happy life?
Absolutely. And I've got a daughter who lives in Orlando now, and she's got 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And one of her daughters has a daughter, so I am a great-grandmother. And I just idolize that child. You know, there's nothing better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners before you leave?
Well, I would like to say thank you to you for inviting me here. I was a little nervous at first, and I says, okay, Jane, get over it. You're going to do it. It's not going to hurt you. So thank you for that. And I also want to say thank you very much to all of our troops that are abroad. And every night say a prayer for them because they need it. And say a prayer for their families as well.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank
you
you
for being a friend, too.
Thank you.
Those are very rare to have.
Yes, it is.
Very rare to have.
Yes.
Well, everyone, you listen to Live with Necee. I am your host, Opal Bailey. Y'all have a blessed day.